this time. So I got vaccinated. Now before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe. Whilst motorcycling is often seen as a solo pursuit, it's not always that way. Some things we do, we like to do in groups, at least we used to, because just like everybody else, the emergence of the coronavirus has put our lives on hold. But Mum said there seems little light at the end of the tunnel. Well, that was of course until the introduction of the first vaccines. But no sooner had the first vaccine emerged than the stories began to circulate, mostly in social media, but occasionally in the popular press. These spread a lot of fear and paranoia regarding how the vaccines were made, and also how rapidly they were made, and what else extra was being added into the vaccine. Now, one of the most common fears is that a tracking system has been added in some way to the vaccine. Now, there are a few problems with this. Just look at the size of the needle used to inject microchips into animals. It's massive. I would totally notice if that was being stuck into my arm. Also, the pet chips are passive. You have to put a scanner right next to them to energise them. What we're talking about is something with a GPS signal. Now to do that, you'd need an antenna, and you'd need its own power supply. In other words, a lot bigger. We're really into science fiction here. But if somebody really did want to track your movements, why wouldn't they just use your phone? Then there's the new vaccines use genetic material. But in point of fact, all vaccines ever created use some genetic material. And in fact, the new vaccines use less of it than the older style vaccines. And once again, we're into science fiction land. If we think there's going to be some sort of zombie apocalypse caused by the vaccination program. As health care workers, both myself and my wife have had the vaccine, and apart from sort of mild flu-like symptoms and an achy arm for a couple of days, we've been absolutely fine. We didn't grow two heads, and we didn't start running around trying to eat anybody's brain, and I don't think we've been tracked anywhere. But then, we don't really go anywhere very interesting anyway at the moment. I believe that the central problem here is that people believe a lot of these stories, but what they don't do is they question what are the motives of the people actually posting these stories. It's strange how the stories are often targeted at specific groups, specific ethnic groups, and specific social and economic groups. So the question we should be asking ourselves is, why do those people not want me to be vaccinated? I feel that that is more sinister than any of the stories put out about the vaccine. It seems to me that the only way out of this crisis is vaccines. We may not like it, but it probably is the only way out. We've failed to control the virus in pretty much every other way. If we want to get back to normal life, in other words riding in groups with our friends, there probably is no alternative. And believe me, the virus is all too real. But until next time, stay safe and ride carefully.